Hinduism has some problems. You cannot say that truth does not exist, because you have to presuppose truth. And we can say all paths lead to the top of the mountain, but let's simplify the truth. That either you are God or you are not God. There cannot be more paths than that. And if you are God, life is meaningless. Love is ultimately meaningless. It does not matter what you do in this life. It does not matter if you love your wife or do not love your wife. You are God and you will never not be God. Yet there can only be one God, because where a God that created all things, that is omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent, meets another God, that is where his limit would be challenged. That is where the limit would end. He cannot be omnipotent if there is another God, because he cannot have two opposing forces. And if you are not God, how do we know who the true God is? How do we follow that God? Well, we all have the moral law written into our hearts. It is what makes something right or wrong. It is not merely my opinion versus your opinion. It is that moral standard that God has written into our hearts, our conscience bearing witness. Now, this is what makes Mother Teresa a good person, or this is what makes Hitler a bad person. It is that we can all agree to do unto others as you would have them do unto you is a good thing. But to kill someone is wrong. It is a bad thing. Now, this moral standard shows us that there is a meaning to life, that we have purpose in this life, because it is a standard that we are unable to match. We have the standard and we cannot live up to that standard. That is how you can see that there is a God that wrote this, and this God has that perfect standard. He wants us to have that perfect standard. And this is with all religions. We are trying to reach enlightenment. We are trying to live with Allah. We are trying to get into heaven where we are free from sin, free from this attachment of reincarnation, the cycle of suffering. This is ultimately where we all want to be. Yet we have to notice if we are following the right God. And which God is showing the characteristics of perfection, perfect love, and perfect justice. Allah can say to you, you have fed 1,000 people, 1,000 homes, yet if you rob from 10, your good deeds outweigh the bad and you will be accepted into this perfect realm. This is not what a just judge does. Those people have been robbed. Someone has to pay that price. He cannot sweep the crimes under the table and call himself just. And there is only one God who is just. It is not the Hindu gods. It is not you yourself. You are falling short. But the God of the Bible, He is the one who was able to be loving, yet pay that price. He is holy, yet He was able to send His Son to pay the price for us, that He may perfectly pay that debt of our sins and be a perfectly just judge. This is the God that the moral laws in our hearts point to. This is the God that gave us reason, logic, science, that all point to this God. This is the God that tells us what was from the beginning of creation and is confirmed through great floods, through archaeology, through science. And He tells us what shall be, and it is confirmed in prophecies, prophecies that can be checked, examined, and verified.